Madam Speaker, as the debate today has shown, this chamber is deeply divided over this bill. But we should all be able to agree that when a pregnant woman is in a medical emergency, we must do all we can to save her. And that is what this final amendment affirms. Now, I want to be clear. The passage of this amendment will not prevent the passage of the underlying bill. If it's adopted, my amendment will be incorporated into the bill, and the bill will immediately be voted upon. Madam Speaker, the underlying bill creates a loophole which would allow hospitals to circumvent the Emergency Medical Treatment and Active Labor Act, a law that has saved many lives. The law, called EMTALA for short, was established to ensure that when a patient arrives at a hospital in a critical condition, particularly women in labor, the patient will at least be stabilized. It is truly the embodiment of the Hippocratic Oath to, and I quote, apply for the benefit of the sick all measures that are required, end quote. EMTALA has been law for over 25 years, and it works. However, the bill before us today could lead to a radical and uncalled for loophole to this law. It would allow providers to refuse emergency care for women even if their lives are endangered by their pregnancy. The hospital could even refuse to give a referral. Now, I'm a nurse who's worked long shifts in the hospital setting, and I find it immoral to deny care to a woman with a life-threatening condition just because she's pregnant. This loophole is wrong, it's extreme, and it's cruel. Unfortunately, there are some tragic complications that can occur during pregnancy for which a therapeutic abortion is necessary to save the life of a pregnant woman. I'm speaking about conditions like severe preeclampsia, where a pregnant woman's rapid rise in blood pressure can lead to seizure, stroke, multiple organ failure, and her death. Or pulmonary hypertension, a condition that American College of Cardiology guidelines explicitly states necessitate the term avoid maternal death. If you've never heard of these conditions, it might be easy to think they're not significant issues. But to the women whose lives are saved by these emergency abortion services, oftentimes mothers who very much want this pregnancy to be successful, this issue is more than politics. It's literally life or death. What if your wife, your daughter, was rushed to the hospital pregnant with severe bleeding? You don't research or compare the policies of your local hospitals. You go to the one that's closest. The one you trust will save your loved one. But when the diagnosis is made and an emergency abortion is necessary to save her life, what would you do if that hospital refused to perform it, to stabilize her, or even provide a referral for her care elsewhere? Thanks to the protections provided by EMTALA, this cannot happen today. But if this bill before us becomes law without my amendment, it very well could. Madam Speaker, my amendment is not just a debate between two sides of the abortion issue. It is about saving women's lives in the middle of very traumatic times for them and their families. So I'd like to bring to your attention a letter sent to Chairman Pitts from the Catholic Health Association. CHA is clear in its religious affiliation and its opposition to abortion. So perhaps because of this perspective, CHA says it's best, and I quote, CHA member hospitals have been providing compassionate quality care under both EMTALA and the Weldon Amendment without conflict since the enactment of these provisions. Accordingly, the Catholic Health Association does not believe that there is a need for the provider non-discrimination section to apply to EMTALA, end quote. CH statement is clear. EMTALA's treatment requirements and the current provider conscience clause work together hand in hand. There is no need for an unprecedented carve-out or exception that would endanger women's lives. As a nurse, I respect the conscience clause language a great deal, but I cannot ever imagine a situation where morally, ethically, and legally a medical professional could be allowed to stand by and let someone needlessly die. No pregnant woman or her family should be afraid that she would be denied the care she needs when she goes to a hospital in an emergency. And we need to make sure that doesn't happen. Today we have the opportunity to fix a problem created with this legislation before tragedy strikes. So I urge you to protect women's lives and support this final amendment to this bill. And I yield back the balance of my time.